we go. And we have Chris, who I think's with you. Good afternoon. Got a couple minutes till showtime here. Good afternoon, Chris. Can you hear me?
I can, thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay, I'll put you in the waiting room. We've got 4 of these all set at the same time, 1:30. We'll see how things play out here, but you're here on Michelson and Minsky.
No, I'm here on Schmidt, on Sherman Mills.
All right. Okay, we'll put you in the waiting room.
All right, thank you.
Oops. Good afternoon, Lance.
Good afternoon.
I've got the record on and live feed on. I'll be right back. We've got no defendants yet. I gotta check, see if there's a warrant for Mr. Minsky. Still nobody here. Let me take a look. That's this. I'm gonna bring Mr. Heisman back in here. He's late and he's challenged technologically and he's like a boulder in the stream. He's gonna show up on the feed and flounder here in a moment. It is now 1:30. It's time for a hearing on all of these matters. And he hasn't made it into the feed. He's only 3 blocks away with the technology. It has to go to a satellite and then come back down. Glenn Lindsay is joining us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Heisman, this is Judge Middleton. Your probation
Okay.
violation hearing was set at 1. Your probation agent, Matt Huff, and me and your lawyer, Jordan Yancey, had a nice time sitting on the Group W bench, wait for you to show up. So
I apologize about that.
we tried calling you. You need to come over here to the courthouse. I'll put you in the conference room where I can see you and hear you. Then we'll have your lawyer come in. I can see you're at home. You need to come over here to the court.
I'm in Indiana.
All right, well, there's a bench warrant for your arrest. So what you should do is turn yourself in at the sheriff's department. This hearing was at 1. You haven't served the time you were already ordered to serve. You did not contact your lawyer. Your probation agent told you to be here today. You haven't done any of the things you were supposed to do. So once you're in custody, we'll have a hearing regarding your bond violation. You're late for your hearing, and we've started some other matters. So there's a warrant for your arrest. You should turn yourself in at the sheriff's department. Well, let's bring all of our witnesses in. What it looked like to me was he was inside his trailer on Epic Court down the street, but all right, we've got Sergeant Zimmer, we've got Glenn Lindsay's high school graduation picture, and we've got Chris Hamilton there with us. This is Judge Middleton. This is the time and date for our zoning afternoon. We have 4 cases set. Jess Michelson, and I think he says Michelson, 202043 and 2044. That is related also to Patricia Shearer Michelson, 2045. We'll set those aside for a moment. We've got an attorney in that case is Lance Thornton. And then we've got 2 cases from Roxanne Seaver, Michael Minsky in White Pigeon, 2048890N. Officer Sergeant Zimmer is here on that one, and maybe others. And Roger Schmidt, 202735. Let's take care of Lance's cases first, and then we'll deal with Roxanne's cases. Frankly, I thought somebody would show up. Well, Lance, this is all the same parcel of property, is it not? 66643 Maple Lane, Burr Oak?
Yeah, 64643 Maple Lane. Yes, that's correct.
64643. I lost Sergeant Zimmer. All right, so neither of the defendants are here. He has some criminal charges. Let me see if he's in our jail. He is not. All right, I've called the matters, Jess Michelson and Patricia Shearer Michelson. What's the status here, Mr. Thornton?
Mr. Lindsay went out and again today and took pictures. It's not in compliance. It's way out of compliance. Lots of junk, RVs, unlicensed automobiles. Unfortunately, Mr. Michelson and Ms. Schur are frequent flyers with the township. We had extensive proceedings in 2015, extensive proceedings in 2017, and now again, proceedings have started in 2020. It's always the same problem. Lots of litter and junk inoperable vehicles and RVs. And
Well, let's take the testimony of Mr. Lindsay and hear what the circumstance is, then you can ask for your order. Mr. Lindsay, would you unmute your microphone? Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Yes, Your Honor.
You're Glenn Lindsay? Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Would you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to
Yes,
give?
sir.
I didn't finish. You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief? Yes?
I do.
We don't have a very
Yes.
good feed here. All right, Mr. Thornton?
Mr. Lindsay, could you testify and explain to the court your last inspection, which I understand was today, and what you found?
Yes. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Barrow.
All right. Let me switch my Wi-Fi. All right. Is that any better?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I visited the property today and took multiple photos of the condition of the property. There's a large amount of debris and litter still on site, as well as a couple of recreational vehicles. It appears that there's a tent set up on site and that there may be people living in the RV and or tent. There's unlicensed, inoperable vehicles on site. The site is a complete mess. And I do also, if Your Honor would like to see, I have pictures from back in 2018 when we actually had the property brought into compliance.
Yes,
What it looked like
we-
then versus what it looks like now.
we struggled, as Lance said, we've been at this property several times and we got it back to some sort of square one. Your testimony is sufficient. Do you wish to put the report into evidence, Lance?
Yes, but Glenn would have to, I can send it to the court.
All right, we'll submit it to the court by email and we'll admit his report as Exhibit 1.
Okay.
It's admitted.
I'll go ahead and submit the current photos too, Your Honor. I have copies of them.
All right. And what do you request?
I'm requesting a order following show cause that would allow the township to go in and clean up the property after the 21-day appeal period. Again, Mr. Michelson and Ms. Scher know the ropes here. I don't think they will do this voluntarily, so we might as well just proceed. And then any costs incurred by the township would be allowed to be placed as a lien against the property. The order would reflect that. I have costs and attorney's fees since the compliance orders entered, totaling $476 even. Safe Built has costs and fees of $224 since the compliance orders entered. Those two figures total $700. I would request restitution for the township in the total amount today of $700. And if the court would like, I would divide that between the two cases at $350 each, or between the two defendants at $350 each.
All right, you may submit an order. Yeah, I'm very familiar with this property and the defendants. He's got other issues as well. I think at this point they've just given up or they don't care and they aren't here. I think that's on purpose. They're just doing what they're gonna do until the township puts a stop to it. So we have testimony by default. I had to make a finding that they are not in compliance with the compliance order. In fact, as you said, they're way out of compliance. And you may submit the order.
I will do so, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay.
And I will sign out.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll set those aside. Now we've got the Seaver cases from 2 different townships. Let's do Mr. Minsky first from White Pigeon, and then we'll address the Sherman Mills case. Again, I'm familiar with this property and this defendant. We had inched a little bit forward on this house at one point. Six, 9, 21. All right, this is People versus Michael James Minsky, who was probably not there the night they raided Minsky's and a zoning violation in the village of White Pigeon. He no longer lives there. The address we have is a Dearborn Heights address in Wayne County. This property is located in the village. And Ms. Zimmer, would you raise your right hand? Could you unmute your mic? Sergeant, would you unmute your microphone? She's frozen. Maybe it's cold.
Judge, I have a really bad connection, it would seem, so I'm having a difficult time catching bits and pieces of what's being said.
All right, well, can you hear me now?
I can now, yes.
All right, would you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Ms. Seaver?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant Zimmer, you're familiar with this property located at 314 South Elkhart Street within the village, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you had an opportunity within the last day or so to go out and take some photographs of the condition of the property at the present time?
Yes, ma'am. I went out this morning and took photographs.
Is there anybody presently living at the house?
Not that could be determined indefinitely.
Okay. Is it open to casual entry?
The side entrance on the south side of the residence is secured with looks like a piece of coated wiring, so it's not a locked door per se.
And what about the front? Is there a front window that's wide open?
There is not. That was open yesterday but closed as of this morning.
Okay, so possibly somebody is living there then.
Potentially, but I can't say that for certain.
Okay. Can you describe what it is that you observed on the property this morning?
Just a moment. Is that you, Mr. Heisman?
This morning there are still
Just a minute. What's your name, sir?
Roger Schmidt.
Oh, all right, Mr. Schmidt, we'll be with you. I can't get the name change to stay on this. I'm going to put you in the waiting room. We'll be with your case here in just a moment. All right, thank you. So I'm sorry.
Sergeant Zimmer, you observed the property this morning and took some photographs?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you see this photograph that I have shown up here?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
And can you generally describe what it was that you observed?
So this is a picture taken facing the south side of the property, one of the main driveway entrances, one of 2 ways to access the property.
And this item here in the front, how long has that been there?
I couldn't give a specific time frame, but several months, if not more.
Okay, are there other items located out of doors on the property that are in violation of the village's ordinance?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a photograph here of the the house as you saw it this morning?
Yes, that's the east side of the property.
Okay, and is this window then open as of this morning?
That was not the window that I was referencing when we spoke about that earlier. It was a window more towards the southern side of the property.
Okay. So do we know whether this one is open?
I do not.
Okay. And then what about with respect to the general condition of the property? Are there still items of junk and litter, various tires and such located on the property?
Yes, there are.
Has the shed been demolished?
It has not.
And these photographs that I'm showing you, do they fairly and accurately represent the property as you observed it this morning?
Yes.
And these items here, are they located next to the shed?
Yes, on the west side of the property.
They look to be construction materials.
Yes, that was siding, vinyl siding.
This just looks like maybe something that was just thrown off in the woods. What is this item, this green thing? Do you see a piece of plastic or something here?
So what it appears to be is that they are in the process of burying tires. There's several holes dug in the yard that have tires in them at this point in time with shovels and dirt that's been moved about.
So it looks like there's a bicycle here and some other stuff on a trailer.
Yes,
Okay, and are there still tires located outside?
yes, in
And
several locations.
looks like there's some items piled up here along the shed.
Yes,
You aware that there was a prior court order requiring the property owner to place the property into compliance by pulling permits and getting it subject to accessibility and occupancy permit with respect to the house?
I am aware of that.
Do you know whether any permits have been pulled?
Not to my knowledge.
And obviously, as of today, the house is still standing, as is the shed, correct?
Correct.
Again, I'm going to show you here this photograph. Does that fairly and accurately represent the property at this time?
It does.
Okay, and then can you just kind of give us an overall as to the various items that it is that are in violation of the ordinance that are located throughout the property itself?
Yes, so there are piles of rubbish, both on burn piles and then strewn about in different areas on the property. There are piles of tires in about half a dozen areas on the property as well. There are construction materials, as you pointed out earlier, on the west side of the property, the south side of that outbuilding. Not to mention the weed and overgrowth of plant materials around the property as well.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd request admission of the photographs that I've shown you. I can certainly email them to you. I'm aware that Tab is not available today, so I didn't email them ahead of time.
That would be fine, and we will allow that to be admitted as exhibit number 1 for this hearing.
And Sergeant, are you at this time requesting the authority to either board up the house and prevent casual entry, or to demolish it, and then also to demolish the shed and remove all the tires and items that are stored various places throughout the property at the defendant's expense?
That's what we're requesting at this time.
Thank you, Sergeant. I have no additional questions for you.
All right. I would grant your order as requested. I won't grant a demolition order without further hearing, but you may board the property up and secure it from casual entry, and otherwise bring the property into compliance and spread the cost on the tax roll.
Thank you. I will submit that under the 7-day rule, Your Honor.
All right. Same thing, 21-day appeal period. Although you can immediately secure from casual entry. I don't want somebody going in there and starting a fire or a kid getting hurt or something. So that portion of the order is immediate.
We'll notify the Department of Public Works and see if they can get out there shortly.
Okay, thank you. Anything further?
Nothing further with this case, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Sergeant. I know you've got a long history with this property and this defendant, and this is an eyesore right in the center of the village. I'm sure the village council's given you marching orders, so he didn't feel it was important enough to appear this time. Let's hope this will accomplish it.
Okay, I appreciate it, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's bring in, you're free to go, Sergeant. All right, for some reason, this got named as Giselle Conrad by somebody, and I can't change the name on the conference room. So let me give his proper name. Mr. Schmidt, are you there by yourself?
Yes, I am.
You can go ahead and take your mask off, thank you.
Okay.
One, two. Good afternoon, sir. This is Judge Middleton. I'm just down the hall from where you are, but thank you for coming here to be able to be a part of this proceeding. This is file 202735 and, 35 and 2746 properties at 66872 Sherman Mill Road. Attorney Roxanne Sieber is here on behalf of the township, and their zoning enforcement officer, Chris Hamilton, is here also. There was a previous compliance order entered in this matter, and there's a show cause why there shouldn't be further action for your failing to be in compliance with the order. Ms. Sieber, what's the status here?
Thank you, Your Honor. You may recall that we were in the court on April the 7th, 2021, and Mr. Schmidt was given some time in which to get the property placed into compliance with the ordinances. I do have Chris Hamilton here. She did take some photographs yesterday. He did do a little bit of work, but it looks like there's still a pretty long way to go. And I'd request the permission just to have her be able to testify as to the photos.
All right. Ms. Hamilton, would you please raise your right hand? Would you state your name for the record?
Chris Hamilton.
Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Sieber?
Thank you. Ms. Hamilton, did you have an opportunity to observe the property at 66872 Sherman Mills Road within Sherman Township on the 7th?
Yes, I did.
Did you take several photographs of that property?
Yes, I did.
And then you forwarded those then to me, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you here on my screen. Does this appear to be are you seeing those? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, does this appear to be the start of the photographs that you sent me?
Yes.
Okay, can you please describe what it was that you observed on the property?
This is the side of the house behind the horse trailer. On the outside of the fence that's around the deck.
Just a minute, Mr. Schmidt, I'm going to mute your microphone. We'll lay a comment here in a bit, but you can't talk when they're talking. I'll listen to you here in a minute. Go ahead.
So it's just a pile of junk. I don't know if it needs repair, if that's just the way he handles this stuff, but you can see that there's a grocery cart there full of junk. The fence is falling apart. There's empty barrels, full barrels. There's milk cartons.
Snow blower?
Snow blower, a lawnmower.
And then this photograph also taken on 6/7, is this a photograph of the front of the house?
This is this is one photograph of the front of the house. This is a van that's not licensed. There's no plate on it. There are 3 others as you go further to the east of further to the front of the house. Yeah, there we go. There's a truck here, a van, and then there's another truck.
And none of those have valid license plates on them?
They do not.
Do you know whether they're operable?
I do not. The first van that we looked at has been there since the last time I took pictures. But the other ones have been moved around, or some have been taken out and some are back in again. There's a big silver passenger van there.
This one?
Yep, that was not there before, but it's there now.
Do you know whether that one has plates on it?
No.
Okay. And then these pictures that I'm showing you, they fairly inaccurately represent the property as you observed it on the 7th, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this is the front of the house, and then we'll move down here to the next picture, and this is what?
This is the horse trailer that he's had there forever. He stores junk in it. At one point, it was purported that he had somebody living there. I would say that's not happening now because it's full of junk. And then over to the left side of the picture is the fence that he has up, kind of surrounding that side of the horse trailer with more piles of junk in it.
This isn't the same fence that we observed in the first picture?
It is not.
Okay. And then this photograph is in the backyard?
This photograph is in the side yard. You can't get to the backyard. This is in the side yard. He's got an old refrigerator in there, a couple of barrels, and various things. I think that's probably the trailer they've been using to try to clean up with.
Do you know, do they haul stuff in there and then sort it and bring it back out? Or is it just the same stuff that you see over and over again?
It's the same stuff that I see over and over again.
And then this photograph looks like maybe is that a burn pile or?
Yep, this is the same burn pile he had that he tells me he's not burning. You can see on the left-hand side that it's got weeds and grasses and sticks on it, but on the right-hand side, that's all fresh ash. So he's still burning there.
And then this is what, a view of one of the side yards?
Yeah, this is the side yard going towards the house. Kind of in the center there is that horse trailer, the trailer that they're loading stuff on. And then as you go out over to the left on the other side of that tree, that's the fencing that has been up around the deck and around the backyard that's all falling down. And the forefront of that is just junk. It's just, there's a grill, there's old chairs, you can't even, it's just junk.
You know, maybe I misspoke. Was there any improvement from the last time we observed this property?
Well, I'm going to tell you that what was sitting out maybe has been cleaned up, but because the fence is falling down and they're taking the fence down and they're dragging stuff out from the back of the fence, it's as bad as it was prior.
Okay. And then this photograph looks like it's maybe a little bit of a close-up of what we saw from a distance.
Yes.
Was anybody out in the yard when you were there?
No.
Did you have a chance to talk to Mr. Schmidt at all since the last hearing?
No.
Do you know whether anybody lives there?
I assume they do, yes.
Okay. And then this is the fence that's kind of fallen apart, or this is a different fence?
This is a different fence. This is behind the house, and over on the right-hand side where it looks like there's a lot of brush, that's where that building has fallen down and crushed in.
That's right.
And then you have all of this stuff sitting here too. And you can see that the fence is falling apart. It's beyond its useful life.
The fence again.
Yep.
Okay. And then what is?
And then this, as you keep going around by the fence, this is what's up against the fence.
This is like an air conditioning unit or something?
I couldn't tell what it was. It could
Okay.
be, but it's all smashed up on the top side and it's just not any good. And then there's another grocery cart, bucket, propane tanks.
What is this flat piece? Is that a door or something, or is that?
No, it's some kind of a piece of machinery. It could be an air conditioner. It could be something else.
Okay.
Looks like a box spring.
It kind
No.
of is. Yeah, like one of those bunky boards. Yeah, a short one. And then this is another piece of machinery here.
Yeah, that one looks like the face of an air conditioner.
Okay. And then,
So you've got the same thing here. You've got an old trailer in there. There's just stuff all hidden in the grasses. And then there's old pieces of cars. There's old hubcaps. There's just, can't even get broken buckets, more buckets, 5-gallon buckets. There's where your fence is falling apart again.
is this behind here, is that all full of tires?
Yes. And that's up on a deck area beside the house.
Probably then inaccessible from the house.
Right. And then this is that little fence that's by the horse trailer, and you can see what's behind that. There's a bunch of tires behind that, an old door. It looks like an old umbrella. And
Another
these are
view of
just-
the yard here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I'd request admission of these photographs. There are 10 of them altogether. They were taken on June the 7th, 2021, and I am able to email those to you. And if Mr. Schmidt would like a copy, I can mail a copy of those to him.
I did
He's-
email them to Tabitha too.
Oh, good, okay.
He's here, we can print a copy for him. All right, that may be admitted as Exhibit 1 for this hearing.
Ms. Hamilton, have you had an opportunity to speak with the township about whether it is willing to go in and effectuate the cleanup of this yard and charge the costs against the property as a tax if necessary?
Yes, they are.
It's willing to do that at this time?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you. I have no additional questions for you.
Samantha, I apologize. Can I have my screen back, Roxanne?
Oh, yes, sir.
I muted Mr. Schmidt because he was trying to talk at the same time the others. Could somebody go out there and unmute the conference room?
Can you hear him, Judge?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
good afternoon. I'm a little older than you are, but people are generally remember they're supposed to take their hat off when they go to court. So could I ask you to remove your hat? Thank you. We had this hearing in April, and frankly, I didn't hold out much hope, but it looks like things have gotten even worse. Would you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief? Yes? And I understand, I think you've got this property from your parents or something, but it's just been,
My grandma bought it.
say that again?
My grandma bought it.
Oh, your grandma bought it. All right. Well, anyway, this didn't happen overnight, and it isn't going to get cleaned up overnight. The township wants to come in. One man's treasure is another man's trash, and you got a lot of trash. The law requires you have 21 days to appeal it, but I'm inclined to grant the township's order that they come in and clean this property up. They're going to have to bring 27 dumpsters and 5 backhoes to accomplish this. But the township is at the end of their rope. What's your response?
Does it or does it not say in the township ordinances that you can have a fence and you can have stuff up behind it as long as you cannot see it from the road.
I'm assuming it says that.
Because that's what I was told when I moved in there. It says somewhere in the township ordinances.
Okay,
Next to the horse.
this, you're
Go ahead.
missing the point. This property is one of the worst I've seen in the last year or two, and I've seen plenty. You just are overwhelmed by things, and this property is deplorable. It is dangerous. I hate to think of the fire department having to respond to anything out there. Don't know if there are rats or raccoons living in this stuff. You can't live like this anymore in 2021 in St. Joseph County, Michigan. Nobody's zoning ordinances allow this. I do this every week on Wednesdays where I see properties that are out of compliance, but yours is up near the top of the chart. But yeah, you're wondering about how much stuff can be behind the fence. You've got stuff everywhere. You're just overwhelmed by the 40 years that you've lived there and all the stuff that's been accumulated. Is there anything else you want to tell me?
Yeah, we've been cleaning up. We've hauled out, I don't know how many trailer loads and stuff. And that's the reason why that trailer's parked right there. Is because we're loading all that stuff up. You gotta take that stuff out to load it up. How are you gonna haul it away if you don't drag it out and load it up?
All right, well, you got 21 more days to get out of there what you're gonna get out of there. You got unregistered vehicles, you got other stuff. I'm gonna grant the township order.
That truck out front is drivable. That van that's sitting there, it's not even ours. That gentleman that's helping me, some days he works from 8 o'clock in the morning until dark. He drives for the Amish. You know what I mean?
That's what it looks like. It looks like an Amish van, a transport van.
Passenger van.
All right, well, you got 21 days
And I
to
can't
accomplish.
until like a month before Halloween. So I can't get plates on my truck in that purple van until then.
Well, move them somewhere.
I can't.
Yes, you can. There's no reason why you can't get them plated. You don't have to wait for your birthday. You can get a next day appointment at the Secretary of State's office. This stuff has been there for months. You're a hoarder, Mr. Schmidt, and it's difficult for you to part with this property. But the township has reached the end of their patience, and so have I. The township will submit an order under the 7-day rule.
So what are you telling me? We got 21 more days to clean up?
About 25 by the time I get the order and sign it.
5 days to clean that barn up. Because we gotta pull the roofing off of it?
Yeah, they're not waiting anymore. If we wait on your time frame, I'd be in a
No. When we come back here.
tombstone. All right, they're gonna submit it under the 7-day rule. I already gave you, this is a 2020 case. It's now June of 2021. And I think the property is actually in worse shape than when we started. So I do appreciate the fact that you're working on it, but their patience is up. Can clean the property.
Now, what's gonna happen if we come in here and this is about cleaned up? Are they
Well-
gonna leave it alone? If we keep it like this?
Say that again?
If we get this all cleaned up, all but that barn, and we keep it this way, are they gonna leave us alone?
Yes.
That's with me the last 35 years that I've lived here.
Well, yeah, you've been a pain in their neck for 35 years, accumulating all this junk. So yeah, if you get it, they don't enjoy bedeviling
Tell you
people.
what, I want to send a township ordinance sent to me. That way I know what we can do and what we can't do.
All right, can you accomplish that?
I'll send it along with the order.
All right.
You know, and what does it say about putting up fence? When I first moved in there, they told me if I put up fence and nobody could see it from the road, that nobody could complain about it.
Well,
Nobody answered that.
we're long past that stage.
That may have been a previous ordinance. The modern ordinances, which are from, I believe, 2010, do not have a fence provision.
No,
in
I'm
them.
talking about 35 years ago when I first moved in that place.
Yeah, the law has changed since then, and it looks like you got 35 years worth of stuff.
We won't be back into court on 21 days, right? 21 days is when the township can come in and clean up.
Yes, so if you want to ask for something, you need to petition the court for a stay or something. But she's gonna submit this under the 7-day rule. I will sign it, and then in 21 days, the township's gonna come out there with a crew and start pitching stuff.
Well, you know what? I don't pay taxes.
Yes.
They're gonna get this money from me through taxes.
You say you don't pay taxes?
No, I don't pay taxes, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's up,
I'm person.
well,
The statute
put
does
the-
permit us to add it as a lien as well.
it's a lien on your property, so whenever it's sold,
I pay my taxes and stuff now. How am I gonna pay these guys? I've been
Well-
about $783 a month, Your Honor.
well, maybe some of this scrap is valuable. I'm not asking for any money at this point, but this is gonna be an expensive proposition, thousands of dollars. And they're gonna place a lien on the property, and when the property is sold, it may be sometime in the future, they will recoup their investment. But as I said, it's been 35 years and the clock just hit midnight. All right, sir, you'll get a copy of that order and we'll send you a copy of the ordinance as well. All right, I'd get to it. As much as you can accomplish is better for everybody concerned. But we talked about this in April and I was feared we were gonna be here, and here we are. All right, you're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's gonna be a difficult one. We'll see what he can do, but, thank you. I'm gonna end the live feed. Chris, you can go. Roxanne, I want you to stay with me for a moment.
Thank you.
All right, that finishes our